Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I got a whole new episode for y'all today. Jimmy Dore show. Israeli soldier expresses regret and unalive himself. Now, this is what happened when you commit war crime, okay? Just because you've convinced yourself that you are better than everybody in the world, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the truth. For example, just because a man decides to identify himself as a woman, it doesn't mean that he cannot give birth to a baby. You see where the connection lies? So if what these people are saying is true, that the land was promised to them 3,000 years ago, that they're the rightful owner, and whatever it is that they're doing, that it is justified and that God will be okay with it. My question is, why would God give you things like PTSD and, make you have suicidal thoughts and all of these things? Has it occurred to you that perhaps, hey, maybe we've been lied to? I've looked into the history of the whole entire birth of Zionism. And I'm not gonna lie to you. The people who founded Zionism, the people who, picked the state of Palestine to settle in, they were a bunch of atheists. These people didn't believe in God. So if they don't believe in God, these are the same exact people saying that God promised us this land. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, you don't believe in a God. Yeah, Theodore Herzl he didn't believe in God. I mean, that should already tell you from the beginning that this whole entire movement is nothing more than just a shamble. It's a lie. It's a lie for colonialism. That's all it is. It's just an extended project. But I digress. Let's go ahead and listen to Jimmy Dore and then hear what he has to say about this whole situation, and I'll give my commentary on it. And, if you like what you hear and see, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Let's get it.
October 7th, the date that ruined my life and destroyed everything I was. I can't anymore. I am ruined and devastation. I did things that...
So I just wanted to go ahead and let you guys see the man's picture over here while he's talking, so that way you get an idea and put a picture while he's reading this.
Cannot be forgiven. And I can't live with it anymore. No one understands me anyway. There is a... I wonder what he thinks he did that can't be forgiven. So, bit of sad news, or maybe not for you. There's an IDF soldier who offed himself, and he made a Facebook post about how screwed up he is for serving in the Israeli bombing, and whatever. Israeli bombing, and what everybody's saying is a genocide in Gaza. So I'll read this to you. It says, Lithuanian Israeli officer who served in Gaza ended his life and wrote on Facebook before doing so, October 7th, the date that ruined my life and destroyed everything I was. I can't anymore. I am ruined and devastation. I did things that cannot be forgiven, and I can't live with it anymore.
So most likely he is talking about the Hannibal Directive. In case many of you guys don't know what the Hannibal Directive is. So Israelis have a policy in which they try to limit the amount of hostages that can take because they do not want to negotiate with us. That's the whole point of the Hannibal Directive. And so when October 7th happened, well, they like to pull the entire blame on how Hamas went ahead and unalived 1,200 Israelis and so on and so forth, and how to talk about, the beheading of babies and stuff like that, right? Well, to break it to you, all those people that died were not unalived by the Hannibal Directive was initiated that day. They went ahead and used Apache helicopters and literally gunned down their own civilians. So in conclusion, this guy most likely was among the people who were perhaps in some of those Apache helicopters, or maybe, I don't know exactly what position he was at. Well, he did claim to be a sniper, but so if I'm not wrong, he's gonna keep reading and you'll hear the whole situation. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened on October 7th. So maybe that's what he's talking about. So keep that in mind as he's reading this.
No one understands me anyway. there is a. I wonder what he thinks he did that can't be forgiven. So there might be a twist to this. So let's read the rest of it. There is a demon inside me that has been chasing me since October 7th. Please forget me, and remember the Thomas who was an officer and a sniper. So he wants to be remembered as an officer and a.
So keep that in mind, right? Since October 7th. So in conclusion, after October 7th, everything that he did between that little period, right? That's not what was hunting him. Because you guys have to understand that once October 7th happened, the amount of people that the Israeli killed in just a short period of time, in like a month after October 7th, was far more than whatever happened in October 7th. Not that I'm diminishing the death of what happened on October 7th. Every life is equal, don't get me wrong. But what I am saying is, once October 7th happened, the Israelis decided to open hell on the Palestinians. They killed more people in less than a day, in a day, than all the people combined on October 7th. Crazy.
Sniper commander? Isn't that weird? That he would then off himself because he did things that cannot be forgiven? Huh. But he still wants to be remembered as an officer. And isn't that weird? Right? So what is he trying to be anyway, so that Thomas died on the 7th. That Thomas died on October 7th. I am only a soul searching for peace. For 2 years now, I haven't been able to live with myself. He was a Lithuanian Israeli named Thomas Adzagakas. And this is from Haaretz, Hebrew Media. But it's from Warfare Analysis Twitter account. So he wants to be remembered as a sniper commander. That's something to be proud of.
The Israeli snipers are kind of notorious for target practicing on kids. Like they will shoot them one day in the head, sometimes they'll shoot them in the leg and all these other areas. Like this is documented. Doctors who have worked in Gaza came back and say these are precise shots. This is not by accident. And he was part of those people who was doing that. So the fact that he went ahead and took himself out and he wants to be remembered as a sniper based off of what I've heard from doctors and what the snipers did to the Palestinian, I feel no sympathy for this guy. Like none, zero, zilch. Heck, I think he did good for the world, to be honest.
Right? Don't they snipe children? So Sia says, well, he finally killed a terrorist.
Oof.
Raj says, a sniper commander? I guess he didn't think sniping kids will come back to haunt him. Still, if he was truly sorry about what he did, he would have exposed the whole thing instead of taking his life.
Exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
This guy says, the hard truth says, he probably talking about the Hannibal directive.
There it is.
They massacred their own people on October 7th. So is that what he's talking about?
Well, he said
That
the
he
7th.
and he massacred his own people on October.
And keep in mind, they do not consider Palestinians humans at all. That's how they've managed to do all that they're doing. Because in order for a human being to become so desensitized on doing what the Israelis have been doing, the only way for that to happen is you have to dehumanize the other group of people in order for you to continue the onslaught. That's it. Outside of that, there's no other acceptable ways of pretty much unaliving somebody else. Because the other claim is, well, if we don't get rid of them, they're going to come for us, when that's not the case.
October 7th, is that what he's talking about? That he was one of those guys who was told to kill his own people? Is that what this is, the stuff he can't be forgiven for? Because he wants to be remembered as an IDF sniper and commander.
Right.
The guy before October 7th. So it's maybe, doesn't that seem plausible that maybe he can't live with himself because if he had to take part of the Hannibal directive? I don't know, but that sounds very plausible. Sounds more plausible. That's what I think. I mean, as if it wasn't hard enough to get sympathy for this guy's letter, he's not even sorry for what he actually did, it sounds like, right?
And
it's like some guy...
And that's why I don't feel bad for him.
Saying he couldn't... Yeah. Well, here, former Israeli Prime Minister Yoav Gallant admits Israel killed its own with Hannibal directive on October 7th and blamed Hamas. Helicopters, drones, and tanks were used. So we know this. We've already, this has been reported widely. We know this.
Right.
This guy says, Michael Wiley says, seriously, stop with the propaganda. No one is buying this fake narrative. The spike in IDF suicides has to do with their illegal and inhumane actions. It's the psychological blowback of a genocide, mandatory conscription, trauma, and a system that chews its own people up and turns them into psychotic monsters. That's documented fact. And yes, some soldiers have openly admitted to doing things they can't live with. That's their words, not mine. But pretending every single one is suddenly a saint who discovered morals is fan fiction.
Right.
If you actually cared about Israel, you'd want the war crimes investigated, the occupation ended, and mental health support improved, not posting emotional manipulation to excuse decades of abuse and genocide. Learn the facts, okay? That's what he says. Until then, no one gives an F about immoral IDF terrorists. And as far as the world is concerned, they have no place in civil society with their heinous actions against humanity. Israel is a Zionist terrorist state. So he's saying that so this post about this guy feeling horrible is propaganda to get you to somehow forgive those people because they have a conscience. And he's saying, don't fall for it. That this has to do with their inhumane actions, the psychological blowback of a genocide, mandatory conscription, which means mandatory service in the military, trauma, and a system that chews its own people up and turns them into psychotic monsters. So he's saying don't do it. Don't feel sorry. Chris Hedges says, children have been shot in other conflicts I've covered, but never before have I watched as soldiers entice children like mice into a trap and murdered them for sport. So that's what Chris.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is what they do over there. And now they want you to feel bad for them. Oh, boo hoo hoo. Oh, poor us. Oh, look at our soldiers unaliving themselves because they're so traumatized and yada, yada, yada. Fuck them. That's all I gotta say is fuck them.
Hedges says he's witnessed the IDF, the Israeli soldiers, doing in Gaza. I like this definition of Zionism. It says an inherently violent and terroristic movement for colonizing Palestine through the theft of Palestinian land and the ethnic cleansing of an indigenous Palestinians in order to create a Jewish supremacist settler colony. That's exactly what it is. And here's Holocaust survivors. Dr. Hayo Meyer, Auschwitz survivor, said this: call Zionists what they are, Nazi criminals. Here's another one. Israel's former ambassador to UN calls Palestinians inhuman animals.
Now, imagine if a Nazi was to start a social media and then he says, oh, I feel so bad for, shooting some Germans. And imagine that. Would you feel any sympathy for these people? Would you turn around and say, oh, poor Nazi, we feel your pain. You shouldn't have gone through that. This is the equivalence of that. This guy feels nothing for what he did to the Palestinian, but rather what he did to the Israelis on October 7th. They do not consider Palestinians human whatsoever. And it's kind of annoying.
Dan Gillerman says he is very puzzled by the constant concern for the Palestinian people. Yeah, they're inhuman animals.
There it is.
So you have to do that in order to be able to genocide people. You have to tell yourself, you have to dehumanize them, make them less than human, so you could slaughter them and sleep at night. And that's what they do. That's what Zionism's all about.
That's literally it. That's it right there.
That's what it's all about.
So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right here, ladies and gentlemen. You get the whole entire idea. You get the whole entire idea now, right? So yeah, these people have pretty much dehumanized Palestinian, and so when they come on here, start crying about how bad they feel and stuff like that, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't feel bad for them. I would never feel bad for them ever because of what I've seen for the past 2+ years now. But if you made it this far, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys up in the next video.